All right, diving right in today. We're tackling digital twins.
Oh, yeah, digital twins. Definitely a hot topic.
It feels like it's everywhere you look,
Right.
right? So whether you're, prepping for a big meeting, just personally curious about this, we want to get you up to speed, give you that core understanding, and do it quick.
Exactly.
So think of this as your digital twin crash course.
Love it.
So what are they really? How are they actually being used right now out there in the world? And why are they suddenly, so crucial? We've been looking at a really great article that kind of lays all this out.
Yeah, it is really interesting stuff. And when you boil it down, the whole idea is you have this dynamic virtual, like a counterpart to something that actually exists in the real world, so like a 3D model.
Okay.
But it's not just a static image, right? It's constantly being updated with data, real-time information, and then you have AI, artificial intelligence working on top of that. And a lot of times you've got these really precise scanning technologies like LiDAR feeding into it too.
Okay, so much more than just a visual then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so why are digital twins suddenly so important right now?
Well, the article it really highlights this huge pressure that a lot of industries are under, like manufacturing and oil and gas, to just become way more efficient,
Right.
minimize that downtime, which costs a ton of money, and of course, make everything safer.
Of course.
And it seems like digital twins are really proving themselves as a way to address these kind of core needs.
Yeah. And the article had some really interesting examples, some real-world stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's start with oil and gas. They talked about pipeline monitoring.
Right. And that's where you really see the power of this constant data and the AI working together. So you
Yeah.
have the digital twin of this pipeline, and it's always being monitored.
Okay.
And so they can spot these tiny little signs of corrosion way earlier than they ever could before.
Wow.
They can even, predict where those weak points might be, and then obviously take action before anything bad happens.
So it saves money on maintenance.
Oh, huge, huge cost saving.
But also safety, right?
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, it's like having an early warning system, but for your critical infrastructure.
Right. Now, they also mention an offshore rig using a digital twin to run simulations for extreme weather, like for emergency response.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they're using this virtual world to really understand how things could go wrong in the real world,
Oh, yeah.
especially in those risky environments.
Right, right.
And then you look at something like manufacturing, and the impact on productivity is it's so clear.
Yeah, the example with the car manufacturer using digital twins to track how much wear and tear was happening on their machines.
Right, right.
And that way they could predict when that machine needs maintenance before it breaks down and stops the whole production line.
Which, costs so much money.
The article said something like 25% reduction in unplanned downtime.
Huge, right. And they go from reactive to proactive, all thanks to the digital twin. It's, it hits their bottom line in a big way.
Makes sense.
And then they had that semiconductor example, which is fascinating.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're basically fine-tuning this super complex process in the virtual world, and they were able to increase their yield by 15% just by optimizing how the materials interact.
So it's not just like heavy industry then?
No, not at all.
They talked about asset management in the energy sector.
Yeah, and facility managers, they're getting this like real-time view of how all their critical assets are doing. So they can decide what needs attention first, they can make the most of their resources, and then obviously that means big savings for them.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Like, what makes these digital twins tick?
Well, the article breaks it down into a few key things.
Okay.
First, you've got to have that constant flow of data, real-time information. And they're using things like IoT sensors, Internet of Things all over the place, and then 3D scanning like LiDAR, which is really accurate.
Okay.
So that all feeds into the virtual model, keeps it up to date.
And then that data goes to the AI.
Right. The AI algorithms are analyzing everything, looking for patterns, anything unusual, trends that, people might not even notice.
Right, right.
And that's how they can predict when something might fail.
Okay.
But they can also run simulations, like, test out different situations in the virtual world so they can make better decisions in the real world.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And the article also mentioned this company, ShapifAI, as an example of someone who's, providing these digital twin solutions.
Okay, what are they doing that's interesting?
Well, they're really focused on making this whole thing more accessible.
Okay.
So they use AI-powered 3D imaging, even stuff like iPhone LiDAR,
Yeah.
to create these models quickly and accurately. And they're all about integrating with what companies already have, their systems,
Right.
and making it affordable, something that people can actually, use,
Yeah. Yeah.
makes it practical.
And then at the end of the article, there's this question that they pose directly to the reader.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It says, what's holding your business back from fully embracing digital twins?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Because it acknowledges that even though it's super cool and has all this potential, there's still that integration hurdle.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously cost is a factor.
Right, right.
But, I mean, from what we've talked about today, it sounds like digital twins are already here, you know? It's not science fiction.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're changing how all these industries work.
Yeah, they're really bridging that gap between, the real world and the data, with AI making sense of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, thinking about all those efficiency gains and safety improvements, it makes you wonder, are there other areas that we're not even thinking about yet that could benefit from this kind of approach? Having an intelligent virtual copy of a real system, like, what are the possibilities that we're not even seeing right now? It's exciting to think about.
Yeah, definitely some food for thought. All right, well, that's our deep dive on digital twins for today. We hope you found this useful.
Definitely.
And be sure to join us next time for another deep dive.
Absolutely.
We'll see you then.
Looking forward to it.